I'm just gonna say spoiler really quick because, if you haven't done it, might as well go do it. The raid is awesome and it is great first experience to have in Destiny. Put that up in one of the greatest memories of all time. But if you have tried to do the raid, having problems, want a strategy for the quickest way to do it, here is your strategy to do so. This is a guide to the bosses, not the entire raid. Plain and simple. Okay, let's begin. The War Priest. Beginning. Best strategy. Have 2 people on each of the pads. Do not call the pads left, right, and middle. Just say top for the highest one, say middle for the middle one, and say bottom for the last one. That to make everything simple, because left and right is very confusing, and you'll see why. Summon the War Priest by standing on all the pads. He will not be able to shoot you that easily because you have the massive pillars in front of you. And after a while, a Hollowed Knight will spawn in each of the positions. Kill them. Once all 3 are killed, it's going to say the glyph sequence has begun. And you're going to want to need one of the people from the top pads to run down the bridge and look at these 3 totems, I guess they're called. One of them will light up. That guy is going to call out either top, middle, or bottom. If he calls out your pad, step on it and stay on it. If he says top, person on top goes to the top and stays on it. Then he says middle, middle goes and stands on it. And then bottom, and bottom will stand on it. The last person to step on it, for example, in my scenario, I said bottom. So that person will have a red bubble, and it will be 10 seconds of 5 stacks. You'll see it on the left side of your screen. Everyone, run over to him, because inside that bubble, you are able to shoot the War Priest. The person with the bubble, you must find ads. You must look down, if you're at the bottom, like I said, and spot a couple of acolytes to kill. Whenever your timer gets down to around 5 or 4, start shooting an ad, and try to kill it once it hits something very low. If you want to get really risky, hit it at about 1 or 2. But make sure it does not hit 0 because you will die. You can do this 5 times. Make sure you do not kill more than 1 each time to get the most out of it. You should have about 50 seconds, maybe even 60, of just pure damage on the War Priest. The other 5 that are shooting, quite simply, release hell upon the War Priest. Once the guy who's done shooting has no more stacks, the War Priest will call out his Oculus, which is a very bright light. Just stand behind this big totem and you'll be fine. Rinse and repeat, kill the 3 Hollowed Knights after a while. Whichever pad is stepped on last, probably going to be next one middle. It might be out of order, but it's usually the one that has something in front of it. You will meet up wherever the red bubble is, and you will do DPS there. If something happens, for example in my game, I got the bubble, but I had nothing to hide behind, these big pillars. So what I did is I had to move the bubble over to the middle or wherever there was one. That rarely happens, but if it does, make sure you are doing DPS behind a pillar, so you can protect yourself from the Oculus. After the second round, he should be very low, maybe about a third left, maybe even less, and then the Taken will arrive. These Taken literally make nothing different. It just changes the Hollowed Knight spawn location. They spawn on the pads, take them out, and either you'll be left with the top pad or it'll redo another one. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to have to meet up on the last pad that has a pillar in front of it, because you will die. Unless you are risky enough and you can kill the War Priest in time, but no one's that crazy. You just got to take it safe. And that's it, you will kill him. If you don't kill him on the 3rd try, it's alright. If you have quickly done it and you have not messed up the glyphs at all, you could probably get in a 4th try. So, there you go. Next boss, Golgoroth. I got a very simple way to do it. It's kind of cheesy, not really, if you want to define it as that. But you put one person way back in that tunnel where the door opens. And you have one person back where you come in the beginning in this door, in this top platform area. You put the other 4 people down into the pit, and you begin. While you begin, you're going to have all 6 of you, including the guy in the back, all 6 of you kill all the ads. Once that's done, that guy goes back into the tunnel where he has a sniper. The other guy stands up top waiting, and the other 4 are waiting to go into the pit. You take down the first right orb, and while he's doing that, the person in the tunnel has the gaze, so when the orb hits the ground and you jump in the pool, the guy who is not in the pit and is not in the tunnel takes his gaze, so he directs Golgoroth's stomach towards the people on the ground. The guy on top who has the gaze at the moment is going to count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hopefully, in that time span, the guy in the tunnel will snipe Golgoroth in the back, taking his gaze back, and the other 4 or 5 people will shoot the other orb, dropping it down. Once it drops down, the guy who is behind everyone, all the 4 people that is not in the tunnel, sorry this sounds confusing, will take his gaze. Rinse and repeat, and only do it 3 times. On the 3rd one, do not get a last one in. Make sure the people in the pit jump out at around 3 seconds, because Golgoroth will smash you. This takes about 3 rounds in all. Just have the person in the tunnel getting the gaze so that the other people can shoot down the orb to maximize the time to shoot Golgoroth. And if you don't get it doing that way, you're hopeless. But you can be done doing the 6th way, but this way is by far the cleanest and most polished. Now on to the Daughters of Oryx. The Daughters of Oryx have a mechanic that is simple once you understand it. You will see an orb floating in the air. You want to look at these 4 little stands as a clock. You want to start jumping on the pads counterclockwise, excluding the orb. So whichever one the orb is, if the orb is on the bottom left hand side looking at it from the door you came in, you're going to want to start with the bottom right, then top left, and then bottom left. That's how people will stand on it. The person who is split between dimensions will start where the first person jumped on, creating these platforms. You know you did it right when there's an orb on each platform, so that the person can capture each of the orbs, going all the way up and getting the actual orb. That person is going to jump on over to the daughter that is not freaking out and is not on crack, holds X and slams it, or square on PlayStation. From there, that person will have a red bubble that you must recognize from the War Priest. Just take it on over to a secure position. I prefer behind one of the pads so you can head glitch the daughter. Get her down, not fully to death. Make sure you do not kill her. Just get her really low. And then repeat. Except this time, you're going to want to kill the other daughter. So that leaves you with 1 daughter, very low health. The reason you do so is because on the 2nd try, the daughter has a ton of health, or has a little bit more resistance towards your bullets. Once that is done, you can easily take out the daughter. That will summon Oryx, the big bastard. He's very large, I know. What he's going to do is, he will start off by throwing a bunch of ads at you, take them out, and then you will see him casually come on over and slam one of the pads. Instead of having someone become split randomly, the person that needs to become split can actually choose who wants to be it. So one person in your fire team says, I'll do it. So you'll have that person collect the orb that he smashes on the pad. It's just like the Daughters, you go counterclockwise, except this time you are including the pad that he slams going first. So if he slams top right, you go top left, bottom right, and he will jump all the way up, and he will be able to get the orb. While it's going counterclockwise, ogres will start to spawn. You must take these ogres out. Make sure you take them out quickly because they will drop these black orbs. Do not stand next to them, and you'll see why in a second. Going back to the orb that they split between worlds guy has. What this orb does, instead of slamming it onto what the Daughters were, there will be a knight in the middle, and he's going to be immune to anything you do. What that person's going to do, he's going to slam that knight. So when he slams the knight will become vulnerable, and you can take him out. Once you kill him, someone pop weapons of light. That's optional if you're Titan. But make sure everyone goes into the sphere that the guy that's split between dimensions got. You should go over to Oryx's front side, whichever side he was on, and his chest is going to open up. Make sure everyone puts DPS into him. If you have the touch of malice, I don't know why you're watching this. Yeah, never mind. I don't know why I said that. If done right, Oryx will fall down, and that gives you a chance to have the 4 people that have their pads run over to these black orbs that the ogre spawned, and you must stand in them. And on the bottom left, it will say your name, and it will say cleansed, or whatever, and that's when you run back to the middle. Everyone meets back in the middle inside that orb, and you shoot Oryx until he falls down. If he falls down, you did it correctly. If you die, clearly you did something wrong. Now, this is when you just say everyone start running like crazy. The people that have their pads, the 4, they run around it because there will be exploding things happening behind them. The other 2 find an area that people are not running in and just run in a circle. A very wide circle too, because you don't want to get caught up in your own explosives. After a while it should stop, and then you continue the entire cycle again. Once he reaches half, there is no more explodey runny bits. Instead, he will be going to the middle, and he will be summoning this area where one person will be teleported into. Within the area, all you have to do is shoot the Echo of Oryx, because he is in the mist. You can shoot him at any time, so do not hesitate to shoot. After a while, more and more people will be spawning in. The people on the outside, back in the original area, will be shooting Thrall. After a little bit, there should be maybe 4 or 5 people in that mist area, and the Echo of Oryx should be dead. Then you'll be all teleported back. That is where you continue the cycle of doing the split between dimensions, jumping up the platforms, killing the knight, killing the ogres as you jump up the platforms, meeting in the middle, shooting Oryx, cleansing the orbs, shooting him again, and then finally he will be down to nothing. But it is not over yet. Everyone has to meet in the middle where he summoned the mist arena, or in fact where he first came up in the beginning. He's going to open his chest and everyone just fires at once. If you have him down to nothing, it should take nothing. You can kill him very easily. And that is it. You have killed Oryx. Congratulations. Hopefully you had 20 moldering shards. I love how I said that after everything. But other than that, this has been very confusing. Hopefully you can follow through with it. Hopefully the video in the background is well edited, because I don't want this to be any more confusing than it already is. But other than that, Guardians, that's been it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope I helped you out. And I'll see you guys in the next one. That was all in one take. Later, Guardians.